Hello and welcome. Today gonna be trying something different. Right dicey, gonna live stream DCS. I'm gonna go solo ship up against two Russian ships. They're new Russian ships that have been added in, I think, the latest patch actually that came out today. I did a little test previously and that enabled me to show you this image here. When I'm firing Harpoon off, and you can see there on the intro slide, the Harpoon heading towards the Russian ship. Now, I just previously put one ship on, and the ship was able to shoot the Harpoon down. But to make things even more difficult, this time I've added a second ship. However, our single ship carries 4 Harpoons. We're going to see if we can take these guys on, and the two guys are close enough together. They're about 4,000 or 5,000 feet apart, so they will both be able to assist each other in defending. We're going to see how that goes. We're aboard the Abe Lincoln. Beautiful morning here in the Middle East. We've been poking our nose around, and it would seem that these two Russian ships are moving to intercept our carrier. So I'm going to do away with the music now, and we'll bring the game sound on in. About there. Hopefully this will be okay. We'll jump aboard our trusty F18 Hornet. Again with the 4 Harpoon missiles armed. And yeah, best make our way. Russian ships intercepting from the north. I believe we've hidden them from... Yeah, so map view being... You know, as you'd expect, yeah. No magic eye to facilitate cheating. This one is going to be found using radars and radar signals and so on and so forth. Guy out there is telling us, lower your wings. Good call. While it is fun to fly around like a Star Wars TIE fighter, it's not always the best if you intend on landing again. Wings going down, and with that let's carry on moving in. Let's obey this guy's instructions. Got to be nearly there surely. There we go. High flaps down half. Wings are down. And he tells us to lower our launch bar, so down that goes. And if we come outside real quick, that allows this guy to hook us up. Now we're getting the instruction to move forward, so we'll move forward a little bit from this view, then we'll jump back inside. And we basically got to hook the thing into the thing. And it always needs a bit more power to get over this little ramp. There we go, we're in. And while we're waiting for this, let's get our forward-looking infrared warming up, and we'll reduce our rad out as well so we don't get cautions as soon as we're up. All right, we need to raise the launch bar at this point, so that's up. And he's telling us we're all good to go. Wind up the engines. Wind up the engines we will do. Gonna give him a salute. Wipe out the controls. What's happened? Why is my guy not moving the controls? Hey, what's this? Don't say it's... Oh my goodness, don't say the sticks, bro. How often, right, do you not wipe out your controls? And yet, there's the perfect reason why it needs doing. Problem on the HOTAS on the live stream. How embarrassing. Yeah, so do your control checks. Yeah, you know the plane's going to work, but was there some sort of problem? Let me just see real quick if I can... salvage the situation. Rescan. Has it somehow disconnected? No, it says it's connected. Let me just check real quick. Apologies, completely destroying the immersion here. Oh no, it is working. So what's the problem? oh my goodness, what is this? Why is it not working? When I adjust my controls, and clearly you can see down here that it is working. What is the problem? That is not good. I tell you what, I'm going to have to real quick. This is terrible. This stream's gone to shit, hasn't it? Just put that screen there. What I'm going to do is just real quick reload the mission itself and see if that fixes the problem without actually restarting the game. And it best do. I'm not sure what's wrong with that. Usually, actually, DCS is pretty reliable in that regard. Yeah, so, well, I said shit goes wrong, or you risk shit going wrong on live stream. Let's try this again. Now we've got it this time. All right, without so much hanging around this time, let's get right on with it. No idea what caused that. Either way. Squeeze on the brakes. Push that down. Well, we know he's going to ask us to extend the launch bar, so let's do that, and let's make it choppy. All right, let's carry on then. So setting the Bing, I'm going to set it to 3.6. Reduce the radalt warning down to about 100. Once again, get the forward-looking infrared warming up. He's telling us to move forward with pleasure. And we're in. Let's uncage the burners. We're going to need those. Let's put a little bit of lights onto the formation lights. He's telling us there, just saw it in corner of my eye, raise your launch bar. Launch bar's raised. He's telling us eyes on him, we're on him. Winding up the engines. One final control wipeout working this time. Thank goodness I didn't take off before. That would have been a right disaster. It's straight into the drink. Power's on. Shooters are getting ready. Arms go up. That means we're all good to go. That means head back. Here we go. We're out. Wheels in, flaps in, staying low, radar on. Finally, we're on the way. All right, everything there looking good. HSI, waypoint straight out to number 1. I'm going to put the sequencing on as well. Speed above 350, going to come out of the burners now. And we'll begin our climb. We'll get the radar over on the right-hand side. We'll switch 4-bar, 80 mile. Get the master arm on. Turn our radar warning receiver on. Apparently, this had a big update in the big DCS update that came out. I think it was yesterday. There was another minor one today. I think mainly to do with the Mirage heads-up display then, and so that's giving us. Radar warning to the carrier behind. Yeah, so the story is our carrier was innocently roaming around the Med, paying a visit to our friends in Israel. And then Russia, who was up on the Syrian coastline, decides to send a couple of ships, and they're apparently plotting courses to meet. And so we're going to switch over. Let's see if we can find them first of all. At least for now, we don't see them on the radar warning receiver, so we do have that going. And I'm also going to switch air to ground. And we'll continue climbing. I think to help us out a tad, autopilot, and we'll couple that up with our steer point. Switch the radar onto C mode, then we'll push that out to 80 nautical miles. And so far, the coast is clear, quite literally. Few other things then. IFF is already on thanks to the hot start. TACAN, well, we're operating out the Abe Lincoln, so that's 72 X-ray. We'll boot that on. ICLS is going to be channel 12 for the same reason. It's the Abe Lincoln. Data link 336, turn that on in case we need it when we return. Data link page 2, we'll turn that on. Channel 127 all default, and with that we'll just have that on as well, standby. And like that, we're ready to roll. Harpoons are warmed up, so there's that as well. Down here we'll get the SA page, that's where I like it. I know some people like it up top, I prefer it down here. Sensor will overlay our RWR on that, and like that push this out to 80 nautical miles. Oh yeah, one thing forgot to mention, Russia apparently has been giving our friends in Syria the S-200 missile system, so something we don't want to tango with. However, something we do want to tango with are these two bricks. These two bricks may be the guys in question. If we stitch or switch to steer 3, they kind of look like they're in line. RWR then showing that search radar looking our way, and as soon as the search radar's picked us up, we've also got a tracking radar looking at us as well now. So the S-200's interested in our presence. Got twice the range of the S-300, which in itself has a range of about 100 miles, but a missile with a range, an air-to-air or ground-to-air missile with a range of 200 miles, not necessarily the best, right? Because you can duck and dive and weave and do all sorts and basically can the missile before it even gets halfway there. Right, let's select our harpoons then, and mode, flight medium. We've got to wait for them to time out. Term, I like them. I don't know, maybe we need to vary it a bit. Default is skim. We've also got the modes pop up there. I'll just wait till they've completely warmed up. Doesn't take long. Not with these. And it looks like these targets are about 60 miles away. We've disconnected the autopilot. We're up at about 26,000. I'm going to increase my RWR, my radar out warning a little bit. So if we dive down, sometimes the sea looks an awful lot like the sky, especially if there's not many waves, and so there's that. Yeah, so this ready. Flight medium, we've said. Turn pop, and I'm going to set them for a certain. So what I'm thinking again, and I did this with just a solitary ship, if you fire one of these missiles at the ship, they basically fire, you know, the equivalent of the Sea Whiz, the Russian version of the Sea Whiz, yeah. So they're just firing, they basically fill the sky with lead from very high rate of fire machine guns, if you like, and they're guided by radar, and the radar's looking at the missile. It auto-aims these weapons and it shoots the missile out the sky. However, I think if we fire more than one missile at once, it's gonna potentially overwhelm the system. At least that's my hope. However, if both missiles are fired from the same place going in the same way, they're both going to be arriving in the same sort of manner. And so what I'm thinking is, when we fire, we're going to send one missile slightly to the right, one slightly to the left, only a little bit, but in theory, when those harpoons pick up on the ship, they'll both then start heading towards the ship. Because initially they went slightly two different ways, once they start coming together, I reckon they'll be far enough apart that the ship can basically only shoot at one or the other. Now granted, there are two ships, so we'll just have to hope for the best. I could fire more than two harpoons at one ship, but then that's going to make things very difficult for the remaining guy. And again, it's a live stream. I don't know the answer to this. If I did, well, then I'd know what's going to happen before, and that would take the excitement out, right? So let's lock these guys up then. So locking the first guy up. as much as you can lock a surface target up. Reckons 70 miles away. I don't think that's correct. I think they were closer. They were about 40. Let's try it again. There we go, much better. So we got a proper target now, 39 miles away. 15 degrees off to our left, and if we take a look over here, we can see these guys heading 29 knots, bearing 226. So definitely moving southwest, moving to intercept our aircraft carrier that was moving due west through the Med. And so with that, it's going to give us a little idea. We see there on the data link page roughly the direction of travel, and our harpoon missiles are going to work best if we aim them onto the ship's broadside. So my plan, if we zoom in a little bit, is to roll wings level about now. We'll continue descending on through the clouds. Clouds looking just so beautiful in this game. Have done for about a year now, but it still never ceases to amaze me. And so when we're broadside with these guys, we'll take a look then and see if we can pull it off. So the mission is going to be UFC for this guy, bearing, and it's going to be roughly, when we're there, I'm thinking something like 320 degrees. That's going to give the harpoon the instruction on which way to fly when we fire it. Now if I switch... Oh, that was a mistake. I was hoping that was just going to cycle through me harpoons. I ended up, mind you, the guy's off the side of the screen anyway. So I guess I've got a step using the button there. Now can I, using the UFC here, set this guy, for example, to go 315? Well, one way to find out. That guy's set 315. I don't know why the bottom of it's missing. I guess here because it says check trim. That's one of the annoying things on this when you operate from the carrier. It seems to get that check trim message stuck no matter how many times you try and reset the MC. Right, so I'm going to skip through 315, 00, because we didn't set those, 320. Okay, great. They're all set up. We, of course, lose our guy. Couple of... well, I don't think there's much else to set up. We'll just fire them. Self-destruct distance, but, you know, we're aiming to hit. So our radar there is set to 40, so those ships are about 25 miles away, just under 25. So let's see if I can grab one again. And there he is, overlaid. Turn our forward-looking infrared system on and let's grab our flirt. We'll zoom in. We'll switch to narrow field of view and we'll change it from TV to FLIR. And that is definitely the Russian ship. Got the very distinctive lip there at the front. That is begging for a missile. And at this point, I think we're a little too close to make the harpoons pay. So I'm going to put the power on. I realise we're going to lose lock, but we know exactly where these guys are. What I'm looking to do, again, is make sure that they're in line with our things. So we've got one going at 320. And just remind myself, the other one at 315. So I'm going to be slightly more over this way so that when these missiles fire, one of them will be, in theory, aiming just to the left, one just to the right. And then when these missiles, these harpoons, pick the ships up, hopefully they'll aim towards it. Now, there's no guarantee they're both going to go after the same ship. That is a problem that I hadn't considered. And the harpoon, of course, goes after the first thing it sees on radar rather than a specific target. Kinda like firing an AMRAAM into a furball hot off the rails. It's just going to go after the first thing it sees. So I'm thinking, is it maybe worth getting the other two involved. You know what? Let's go for it. UFC bearing, so we've got 320, 315. Let's go 310. And we'll step through this guy and we'll give him 308. Hopefully that's not too wide of an angle that the harpoons won't see the targets at all. And so we've got a nice spread there. So we'll start with the one that will be flying mostly to the north, the 320, and all the other ones will be flying ever increasing or decreasing amounts away. So let's move in for the turn then. We see where they were last, on about the 320, heading towards a more westerly angle, and that's where our harpoons, as we keep firing sequentially 1 through 4, will be heading ever more to the west. Hopefully then this will work. We can see the Russian ships have got their radars on. They're looking at us, both unidentified radar types. Well, we've already identified them, so that's not a concern. Let's get back to the radar there on the right screen. And that guy there is right about on the 320, so I think I need to move slightly more to the north, just a little bit. I'm going to fire my harpoons now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pulling up, out the way, roll it off to the side, and there we see one of them. There's another. All 4 harpoons making nice progress. So my thinking now is basically to escort these harpoons in and try and distract the Russian ships, the Russian radars, as much as is possible. Hopefully, if they're more interested in what I'm doing, that'll increase the chance that the harpoons have. I'm going to open up my helmet display now, just to help with my situational awareness a little bit. Just going to lock one of these ships up so I have more precise target info. There we see it, 18 miles away. Not currently seeing my harpoons. Certainly don't want to fly into them, but for sure they're going to be lower than me. I just hope they all don't go after the one ship.
Altitude.
We'll have to see. There they are. See the trails. Put the radar back on. Inside 20 miles now, inside 15, I can start to see the smoke visually, and if I zoom right in, I can see both of those ships. I don't want to get too much closer to these guys. Let's get my dispenser on to bypass. Some will argue I should have had it there already. I hear you. I've done it now, though. And there they go, they start shooting at something. Those have got to be the harpoons. The trails are still moving in. The Russians are shooting. There's all sorts of reflections off the left screen. The Russians are continuing to shoot. There's the first harpoon moving in. The both of them are shooting. They've got the first one. The second one's moving in. Both of them are moving for that one ship. Oh, and we got him. What happened to the fourth one? They must have shot it. And so with 4 harpoons, oh, they're firing at us now. Well, we best start evading. So with 4 harpoons in, but 2 ships staggered so they can defend each other, we were able to heavily damage one of them. See it ablaze there. I guess what we need to do for proof is get a picture with the targeting pod. Let's see if I can pull that off. Set my HEMIX to target, unlock what I had before, look down there, focus on there, come over to the FLIR page, set that as sight, and there we see it. Ship heavily damaged. Snap, 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 snap. Video and photographic evidence for everybody back at home. One of them heavily damaged. This point, time to RTB, because one of the ships is still alive and well. The other one seems to be limping along, at least for now. TACAN 72 set already. Get the HSI then on the left. Direct to the TACAN. Unlock the targets. Unlock, unlock, unlock. And TACAN this way. So the Abe Lincoln, 72 miles away. These guys were 100 miles away to start with, so they've closed the gap pretty quick. Let's get rid of the sequencing stuff just to clear up the display some. Let's radio on in and say we want to come home.
Marshall 808, marking mops 011.70, Angels 60, state 7.3.
Mother's weather is visibility 10 bus mile. Scattered clouds at above 10,000. Altimeter is 293. Case 1 recovery expected BRC 264. Report see me at 10.
808.
Alright. She wants us to give her a bell once we're 10 miles away from the boat. We'll do that. At least we've got the heading of the ship there, 264. And we will tell our forward-looking infrared to have a rest. EW page, no need to clutter up the hood at this point. The ship's safely behind us. And if the S200s weren't shooting at us over there, well, they shan't be shooting at us over here. And we'll leave the RWR on. If it starts ringing and dinging, we'll adjust our plan. And a quick look outside. We were carrying a centerline fuel bag. Clearly we've used that. And so I think for the sake of helping the ground crew to rearm, I'm going to chuck that out now. So we'll select that. And as soon as I hit this button, center bag's going to go. 3, 2, 1. Just what a beautiful game this is. I mean, it's a really good simulator as well. As a flight sim, it's really good. As a military flight sim, well, there's nothing that even comes close. And as something that looks beautiful, granted, the whole world isn't in there, at least not yet. There's talk of it, but I can't see how they can pull it off unless they're literally just going to put the Google Earth underneath where we're flying. I doubt it'll have destructive scenery. It just won't be possible. But when you put it next to any flight sim, I don't think there's, Microsoft Flight Sim. It depends on exactly where and at what height and at what time of day. But DCS really looks good everywhere at this time. least I think so. Right, Master Arm, nothing to be gained by keeping that on, and I think at this point we can put our externals back on, so I'm going to landing light, yeah, remains off, external lights on. Come out of air to ground mode, we don't certainly need that. Have an AWACS out there doing the rounds, very nice, tune in.
220 at 35,000 cold.
Now we'll turn his radio down a bit. So there is enemy aircraft activity 200 and some miles away, not to concern us with. Certainly nothing that seemed to bother us. And we'll turn the dispenser off for coming into land. Anti-skid is off and hook bypass is set to carrier. The hook's ready to drop. The HMD, I'm going to toggle that off. 3, 2, 1, bang. That clears out that. And with just 30 miles to go, let's zoom in. Disconnect from the autopilot. And we will begin what can only be described as the initial descent. And then we will just do a little bit of cloud surfing. You know why? Because we can. I like doing this. Real careful on the pitch. You can keep flying in a straight line and just let the nose dump. 245 on the heading, which shall be maintained. We're getting nice and close now. Is our ship in visual yet? Well, she gonna be if we're looking in the right place. 23 miles and counting to go.
Altitude.
I'm not going to bother with all the radios and stacking up because the controllers, I mean, they have you waiting 20 minutes if you let them before you can come in. I'm just going to come in right off the bat. If we're lucky, we'll get Charlie before we trap. If we don't, they're just going to tell us that we landed without proper communications. Either way, no need to hang around on this one. We're just moving straight in. 15 or so miles to go, and by the time we double back, those Russian ships are going to be even closer, assuming one of them isn't dead. I deliberately turn my battle damage report stuff off because it's basically akin to cheating, right? If you know something died without even having to look at it, that's cheating. To force you to either to turn around or to get a visual or to, you know, to look at it to verify is the thing that you went after dead, I think is a little more realistic, right? Right, we're at 10 miles from the Abe. Let's hit the friendly sounding lady up and say
808, see you at 10.
There's the boat.
State switched out.
That is Mother.
State 5.6.
Right, down we go. 5.6 on the fuel, and what do we have? Abort inbound or request azimuth? Well, neither of those apply. I'm just going to drop down to about 1,000 feet. Thrust is idle, and we're letting the speed drop back.
Tower 808, overhead Angels 1, state 5.6.
I'm going to dump the hook now.
808, Tower, roger, BRC 264, signal is Charlie.
Charlie, aye aye, so we are clear to land. Let's hope that standing order sticks, despite my lack of comms, and with us on about 350. Drop the range down to 10 on the left. We're more or less where I want to be. Maybe a hair low, but you know. So here we go, we're on BRC, let's roll it off. We're on 350 at 8, having a good gander down. Deck looks CTL to me, and with that, chop the power, rolling to the left, and there's the OH brake. Brake. Pulling the alpha, speed's dropping off. Some people say that you to have the FCS over there, you know, either way. Right, gear down, flaps full, we're well below 250, so that's all good. Hook is already down, and now it's just a case of trimming off that E-bracket. We're behind the stern of the ship, so let's start rolling off to final. Radar is not set to 350, never mind. We'll keep an eye on it. Coming around. You watch me bolter and screw this. I do have winds and I do have a bit of turbulence, so that's my get out of jail free. If I balls this up, it's because I've got turbulence and wind. And that is going to cause a bit of a burble on back of the ship. We came way wide on that one. Let's move to correct.
808. Hornet ball. 5.4.
The sod you, I'm coming in. Waving off. What the hell? Right, hook up. Flaps up. Wave off. What's he talking about? Looking awfully sterile on deck. Were you freaked out? You cleared all the aircraft off. They were frightened. Nearly. Alright, let's come to a stop here. And I need our friends to give us some more missiles. Rearm, repair, harpoon. Same with the fuel. Yeah. And 6 of one and half a dozen of the other with the flared shaft, just because who knows what, if anything, they might fire. Okay.
Refueling.
And rather than waiting for this, I'm going to pull a little trick. Whoa, the zoom controls speed up as well, which is kind of weird. When you speed up time, not only does the game speed up, but the rate at which your controls work speed up as well. And as soon as we see... There we go, fuel bags going on there. Rearming complete, fantastic. And so with that, we're going to ask the ground crew, please may we launch, and let's just pick a different cap. Let's just do that so I get access to the high NWS without having to hold it down. Look at those guys, proper marching. They're all left, right together. Are you ready? I could really embarrass myself here if I went off the edge, couldn't I? Oh yeah, you want me to turn right? That's a good call. Look at him. He's got his arm out. Turn right, turn right. With pleasure. And now come towards. Turn right a bit. How about that? Is that all right? I think so. Stop. With pleasure. All right, the wings. Make sure they're down, push that in. Flaps set for takeoff. Takeoff trim Yeah, let's have a look. Can we see the stabs? Just by the side of my helmet in the mirror. There we go. Stab set for takeoff. He wants me to lower the launch bar. Part and parcel of attaching yourself to the catapult, I suppose. There he goes. He's collected that in, so that means we can raise again, right? Wants us to move up first. That's that little ramp bit that's difficult to do, so you need to add a bit of power or come at it a little more aggressive. There we go, we clicked in. I keep looking left, he's not left, he's there. Now he's telling us raise the launch bar. Now he says, hey, look at me. Nice as you are, powering up. Power up. I'm gonna sweep the controls, wipe them out, and give them a salute. They go down. Burners are on. All okay, let's get ready. Head back. Bang. Rusky number 2. Wheels in, flaps in. Oh shit, the lid went missing. He never told me my lid was open. I wonder if it'll stop us having an being able to effectively do the mission. Let's have a look. Burners off. Turn the game sounds down a bit. Master arm on. Air to ground mode is in. Get the harpoons warming up. We've got C mode in from before. We'll push the range out to 80. And we know they were to the north. Question is... Oh yeah, look at that. They're much... Oh, is one of them missing? I'm not sure. That may only be one left. Continue the climb. I'm going to use the heading mode on the autopilot. Looks like... Slightly to the right, I think. I don't know. Let's go 010. Autopilot ATT together with the heading select. That's going to keep us climbing at about 5 degrees. You know what? Actually make that a bit steeper if I just pull back gently on the stick so it doesn't throw the autopilot off. Going to narrow my sweep a little bit to about 45 degrees. That'll update it a bit quicker. I was just thinking, can we get this guy without a canopy? Let's have a look. What a disaster. What a disaster. Oh, he's still got his hand on the... He's hanging on for dear life. Who can blame him? Doing 500 knots. Best be careful where I put the camera for cinematics. I can not really get away with it anymore, can I? Perhaps if I sort of look over the side of the wing there, I can just about get away with it. As soon as I look that way, they're going to think, oh, the nobby forgot to put his canopy down. I'm surprised, though, that the ground crew gave me the okay. Like, they were concerned I didn't have my wings down. They were concerned about the launch bar. But the canopy up, couldn't care less. They gave me the green light. The shooter bolt sent me off. I'm looking for excuses again, aren't I? I'm fishing. I'm blaming the game. It's Eagle Dynamics' fault that I've lost my canopy. Right, harpoon set. This guy... .30 knots, 227 on the bearing. Let's come down here. Range 80 miles there. He is about, what's that, about 50? And I'm thinking same sort of plan, but I think this time, rather than giving these missiles different headings... Oh, interesting. They've got their heading... Are they all the same as... All the pylon stations have saved the heading from before. I was not... Apart from the inner... That one, which is kind of weird. Alright, so all except one have saved. So we've got 320, 315 and 308. So that one needs... Well, this time we were going to do more of a... 350... I'll tell you what, just because it's easier to see on the carrot. Let's make them all 3... let's go 319. Step 318. Step, and let's just go 321. So 320 on the carrot is where I want these guys to be, and it looks like potentially there's only one. So let's get the FLIR camera out, turn it back on. Well, there is the one. So let's go wide angle. Zoom out a bit. Oh, there is still the second guy. Okay, regardless, we're going to focus on this first one. This guy. Can't seem to get my FLIR to lock onto him yet. That's a high contrast target if ever I've seen one, despite the range. Maybe they've put some artificial limit in on the range, because that is a high contrast target. Oh well, tell you what will work then. What we had before. Radar unlock. I'm going to relock. There we go. Drop the situation display back to 40. Yes, I'm going to try line these guys up with the carrot again on the 20. We see, sorry, the 32 or 320 degrees. They're about 340 some. Despite lack of canopy. Get the dispenser back on. I guess another thing I will do, EW, get that on the heads up just in case. So these guys are on about 330 degrees, so another 10 degrees around. I'm going to get my Hemex back on, and that will make it even easier to see. The guy who's smoking is very visible, and they're on about 325 now. Another couple of degrees. And what I'm thinking is we'll adjust the term here. So this one is set to skim, which was default. I'm thinking in we go. Right, so let's fire this one. Now this one I'm going to set to pop up. Fire. Term, he's set to skim. Okay, and then term, set him to pop as well.
Altitude.
Sounds like one of the harpoons setting up. Oh no, it wasn't the Radal, it was the 500. I thought one of the harpoons tricked my radio altimeter. Right, so those harpoons are underway. I'm just gonna reduce power a little bit. Make sure I don't crash into them. There they all are, much closer together this time.
Altitude.
But at least there's 3 of them. Oh, there's the 4th, a little further behind.
Pull up! Pull up! Pull up!
Oh, jeez, I had to pull then.
Flight controls.
So here's one of them. Now with the lack of canopy, I should be able to reach out and touch this guy, surely. If I use those VR glove things. you go, flying in formation with a harpoon. And it will detonate if I fly into it, so... bit dicey, and the fact is there's more of them. Let's work on distracting these guys. I'm going to put my burner on. Center fuel bag is expended. And there they're starting to shoot. Where are we? There we go. Center fuel bag disappears. So I'm working on providing a distraction for these guys. See, they're shooting. The harpoons are going in, and I'm hoping at least one of them's going to hit. Well, that's a hit. That's a hit. Number 3 goes in, and surely that guy's dead. I guess these guys don't have access to certainly radar missiles. They have got a radar. You see, one of them's looking right at me. Is it just to guide AAA fire? Is it like a floating shilker? Well, that I'm certainly not going to rearm again and go for it. So the answer is it possible for a single ship to take them out? Well, clearly if we just go back, repeat process, yes. I'd love to know, again, because I don't have the, like, God view on, I can't see how damaged this guy is.
Flight controlled.
But he's looking pretty heavily damaged to me now. It's his pal that's still okay. And they will sink. It's not an instant thing, but yeah, look, he's stopped dead in the water. There's another explosion or a secondary, and there he is. He's starting to go down, yeah, so we are able to do it. That leaves this guy all by himself. 4 harpoons into the side of that guy without any pals able to help him would finish him off. You hear that AAA there going off. I'm gonna let him kill me. Go on.
Bingo. Bingo.
Tell you what, let's see if I... Oh, he's hit our fuel tank. Look at our fuel drain there.
Fuel low. Fuel low.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Alright, air to ground mode. Where's my guns? Where's my guns? Has he seriously caused damage that I can't select my gun?
49 for 220 at 20,000 gold.
Stores? Oh, he's broken my onboard computer. I can't hit him. Fuel, 200 pounds. We're about to go down. I guess it's time for a bit of... Take a page out of the Japanese's handbook.
Pull up, pull up.
Kaboom, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that one. I certainly did. Yeah, so the answer's yes. It's probably going to take you 3 flights to do it. And a heck of a lot of fun with it. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.